Let's play that intro again. And welcome to Counsel of the Day with Shanrae. And I am Shanrae. Let me know if you can hear me. Something went wrong with my intro and I couldn't hear it, so I don't know if you can hear me. Please let me know if you can hear me. Whoever's on tonight, let me know if you can hear me. Um, Oh, and my camera is so jaded. I don't know what's going on. I'm looking over at my camera on Instagram. I don't hear anything. So I'm trying to see what's going on with the sound. Let me know if you can hear me. I don't know what's going on. Let me know if you can hear me, guys. Whoever's on, let me know. Hey, Chip, how you doing? Chipper, can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. But welcome to Counsel of the Day with Shanrae, and I am going to go on and get started. I hope that y'all can hear me on tonight. And we're going to get in and out this month, this quarter. We are in season 20, my series 28, the third quarter of this year. And this month, I'm going to be talking about know better, do better. Thank you, Chipper. This month, I'm going to be talking about if you know better, then let's do better. But let's start with let me start moving my slides, guys. I'm a degree counselor, and I acquired my degrees from Ashford University, as you can see. And my website disclaimer, I am going to open it and then close it right back. Let me open it a little bit. Here we go. And there we go. And that's for all of those are my fellow counselors and theorists. All right. So let's move it further. Guys, please excuse me. My puppies are in the background and they're making a lot of noise. I'm not going to go over my bio. I do it every time. So I'm not going to go over my bio this time because time is of the essence. I'm a Christian counselor. So the scripture that I've chosen to stick with, it's been over a year, it's Deuteronomy 31:6. The NIV version, it says to be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them, for the Lord your God goes with you. Shh. He will never leave you, nor will he forsake you. Alrighty then. So let's move this on to our key points for tonight. Okay, again, this month we're going to be talking about if you know better, are you really going to do better? Or if you know better, can you actually do better? All right, so our key points for tonight are, number one, all of us has experienced the impulse to do things that aren't good for us, right? Number two, but often it is a state of imbalance that pushes us even further out of balance, okay? Number three, this is a human tendency, guys. It's a human tendency, okay? Documented in ancient texts and studied in modern psychology as well. Number four, learning to regulate our nervous system is the best way to let our inner wisdom guide skillful choices. Number 6 and 7 is our takeaway, and I will quote as usual. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. So let's move this further. Good evening, Instagram family, YouTube family, Facebook family, LinkedIn family, guys. We're gonna move this along. So the question again. Let me move on to the question, and y'all can answer. This is an open platform. You can answer it, especially those of us that have life experience. Can someone do better when they know better? That's a big question. Can somebody really do better when they know better? So, what I came up with out of my research, no. The answer is no. Not readily, no. Simply knowing better does not automatically mean that someone is going to do better. As discussed in psychology today, human behavior is driven by emotional states. And we know this. Those of us that have lived long enough, we know this. Okay? By your nervous system regulation and environmental fractions, rather than pure intellect or facts alone. So again, can someone do better even when they know to do better? A lot of times it is no. Okay? So why knowing is not doing? Let's move this along. Why knowing is not automatically doing, okay? So our nervous system is overloaded. And when we're stressed, when we're tired, when we're overstimulated, our brain capacity for wise choices drop sharply. A lot of us understand this, especially when we get a certain age. A lot of times we got to sometimes stop and take a nap. I know my cousin told me, she told me, I laughed when she told me, she said, this was years ago. She said, cousin, when you turn 50, you're going to start taking naps. And I laughed. But you know what? I fought it for 2 years. For 2 years after that. When I turned 52, I came in one day and I was just, I couldn't think straight. I just couldn't think straight. So then finally I just said, you know what? Let me just lay down for a little bit. So I laid down for like 40 minutes and got up. And I was like, oh my gosh, I just felt like I could just run. And then I understood then what my cousin was saying. Peaches says she take one every day. I know that's right. Let me tell you, I'll be looking forward to my little power naps now. And that taught me something. It helped me. It helped regulate everything, my mind, my nervous system, everything. I needed to just relax and just sleep, just calm down and sleep for a little bit, wake up and start all over again. This is what this is talking about right here. About just because you know better, it doesn't mean that you're automatically going to do better. So let's get into unmet needs. So habits that we wish to break, often temporarily, they start to protect you from deeper emotional pain or exhaustion. Our environmental frictions, relying purely on willpower, fails. And when we make bad choices, or they're easy to, easy and good choices require higher effort. So let me go back. Bad choices are easy to make. Good choices require more effort. You know what I'm saying? De-escalate. That's right. That's right. Peter said we need to de-escalate. It's true. So, and then we all have experienced the shame cycle. Okay, where we self-criticize ourselves deeply, which actually makes us repeat these unskilled behavior patterns all over again. Once we start, critiquing ourselves or telling, have you ever seen on TV where on a comedy where somebody says stupid, that's a self defecating type of thing, the shame cycle. That causes even more bad choice patterns and stuff like that. So how can we bridge this gap? Because this month we are going to be talking about just because we know better doesn't mean we're going to do better. Or you can do better. All right? How to bridge this gap. We're going to regulate first. Just like what Peaches just said, de-escalate. We're going to regulate first. Pause. Calm your body before trying to make a major decision. Redesign your space area if you need to. Make positive choices easier and negative choices harder to reach. Be curious but not harsh, okay? Ask yourself what do you need the action met instead of shaming yourself. What do you need to do to meet this action, okay? Instead of shaming yourself. So again, hey Keyshawn, we're going right back to when you know better, but do the wrong thing anyway. Okay, we all act against our inner wisdom at times. All of us do. I don't think not one person has never not done that. And here's why, how we can reduce this. Again, it's a lot of it is de-escalating, putting yourself in a better mind frame, all of that. Okay, so and this theory, this research is by Jordan Scotchy, PhD. Licensed psychologist, school psychologist, and lives in Montana, Whitefish, Montana. Okay, so what Scotty says, he talks about how we live in a saturated world full of information. In a matter of minutes, we can find answers to both simple questions, like for instance, what's a good birthday gift? Or a complex question like, what's the optimal diet for a 40-year-old woman? Okay? But while some decisions are in fact deeply nuanced, most of us struggle. The struggle is that undermining our well-being are not caused by lack of knowledge. Okay? So, more often the problem is this. We know what to do, but we don't do it, right? We know what to do, but a lot of times we don't even know where to get started on how to do it. We know what to do, but we don't even have enough energy, the capacity to start to do it. You know, we know what to do, but we overwhelm our minds trying to figure out how we're going to start doing it. Okay? So this is the one reason Dr. Scotty said that he often reassures people and curious friends the tools like ChatGPT is never entirely, that should never replace anything, therapy or anything. It helps though, okay? Even when emotional validation are really the missing pieces. So the harder part of tolerating discomfort, Dr. Scotty says, delaying gratification or resisting well-worn habits, okay? So as most of us have experienced, knowing what would help does not mean that we feel able to or willing to do it. I'm going to say that again. Dr. Scotty says that knowing what would help us do something does not automatically mean that we're going to be willing to do it or we're even at capacity to do it. All right? So, an offense against wisdom. We're going to move this along. An offense against wisdom. I think that's on here already. Let me see. Is it? Okay. Regulating choices. So, Dr. Scotty talks about the Ayurvedic philosophy. And this is the phenomenon, it's described by the concept, I can't even pronounce it, Pandra, often translated as an offense against wisdom or misuse of intellect. I like that one better, a misuse of intellect. It refers to moments when we act against our own better judgment. So it's when we override our internal signals trying to guide us towards balance and health. So feeling called out, and most of us recognize this experience immediately. But perhaps, or we procrastinate on a difficult conversation, even though avoidance increases our stress levels. So we may stay up late when our bodies are asking us to rest. How many of us have done that? I just talked about that. Needing a nap, okay? All right. Or we respond to somebody who has repeatedly shown us that they cannot offer us anything better than what they've been giving us. All right. So, as occasional events, these choices are rarely problematic or dangerous. But in fact, these things reveal how easily insight can be eclipsed by our impulse, our emotions, our states, or our habits. So again, the paranara, whatever, is translated as the offense against ourselves, offense against our own wisdom. So why we do this? Why do we go against our own wisdom? We're gonna break it down a little bit more. And it's still talking about it again. Why do we do this? When we're overstimulated, when we respond by doing more work, whatever. When we're trying to be more productive, Peaches said we will have the ability of making a productive choice to do or not. Think before we act. Exactly. We have to, no matter what. We've got to think before we act. I'm actually going to put this on the screen because she is so right there. We have to think before we act. Sometimes in a stressful situation, it is very hard to focus and think to make a rational choice. But that's not all the time. That's a sometimes thing. You should never be in an instance where you're always in like a mode where you have to hurry up and make a decision in a moment without being able to think about it. That no one should ever be like that constantly. So, like Peaches was saying, we all have this ability of making a productive choice. Okay, but to do this, we're gonna have to think. We got to think before we make these choices. Okay, and it is sometimes we do have to retrain. Listen. Everybody has to retrain or reframe their mindsets in order to be able to get farther or to get where they want to go. This is why I do these counsels of the days with Shanrae every 3 months to help us understand that we're not alone out here. We're not alone out here. All of us out here. Get it, hi, Mama Sarah. All of us have something that we want to change for the better. Y'all please, the puppies are playing with their toys. Excuse me, guys. All right. So I love what Peaches just said again. We all have this ability to change things for the better. It's just slowing down and help and thinking things through to make a more productive choice that will work best for you. So the cost of repetition. Now this is good because repetition could be one way or the other. Occasional offenses against wisdom, we still talking on that, are part of being a human. Okay, problems arise when these patterns become chronic though. So for example, repeatedly ignoring our body's need for rest. That's not good. That is not good, guys. Have you ever seen somebody that don't even know when they fall asleep? That's dangerous. They have ignored the signal so long to they can just sit anywhere and go to sleep. That's dangerous. If it's not, especially if they don't have narcolepsy, because everyone doesn't have narcolepsy, but there are some people that's something else. We're gonna go into that another time though. All right. So, but when you repeatedly ignore your body's need, like this is an example for rest, it increases our vulnerability to illnesses. Okay, persistently avoiding emotional discomfort can reinforce anxiety and depression. Over time, small daily choices accumulate into meaningful consequences for both mental and physical health. And these choices can go in either direction, in favor or of balance or of imbalance. So how do we tip the scales in favor of the balance side? Both ancient medical systems and contemporary psychology agree on this point. Knowledge and insight alone are not enough. Awareness must be paired with regulation, support, and compassion in order to make wise, possible decisions. Okay? So, regulating for better choices. We want to regulate for better choices, and I'm going to skip down right now. Let me make regulating for better choices. Number one, it says knowing better. If knowing better were enough, none of us would struggle. None of us would struggle if knowing better was just enough. The goal then isn't to acquire more insight, it's to create conditions that make wiser choices more accessible in the moment. So, but number one, regulate first, decide second. So when we're overstimulated, when we're exhausted, when we're emotionally charged, our capacity for wise action drops. And before making what should I do, what state am I in, even brief regulation practices, start practicing this. Sometimes you got to breathe in, breathe out. Do some breathing techniques. Breathe in and breathe out to kind of calm down. Step outside and just get some air. Pause for a minute. All of these things can help restore enough balance for you to think clearer and to make a better decision. Number two, make the wise choice easier than the impulsive one. So willpower is unreliable, but instead you can modify your environment to support the choice that you already know is better. For example, if your phone is in another room at nighttime, delay responding to emotionally charged messages. Lay out your work clothes the night before. Reduce friction for the behavior that you want, and increase it for the behavior that you don't want. Okay? So that's just an example. Number three, replace self-criticism with curiosity. So when we act against our better judgment, shame often follows. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Man, I made the wrong decision. Daggone it. I should have learned that the first time. You know how we think, how we say stuff. So we want to avoid this stuff. But self-criticism tends to deepen our dysregulation. Okay? Making repetition of unskillful behavior more likely. So try asking yourself, what was I needing at that moment? Or what did this behavior temporarily protect me from? Curiosity often opens space for change without reinforcing the cycle of unskillful behavior. So that's a good thing. Start asking your questions. Okay, why was it that important for me to do it this way? Sometimes you just gotta break it down like that. Why is it so important for me to always do things this way? Maybe I need to. Why don't I try to do it this way, that way? You know? Okay, number 4. Look for patterns, not isolated failures. So you're going to look for patterns, not for failures. Okay? So Dr. Scotty said one late night or an avoided conversation is not the issue. Repetition is the issue. So notice when these choices start to accumulate, such as during the periods of stress, loneliness, or exhaustion. You know what I learned years ago before I got the gastric bypass surgery? I learned that I was a stress eater. I found out when I was going through the classes to get my gastric bypass. Like whenever something stressful happened, I went and grabbed some crackers or something and started eating. So I had to learn how to, during stressful moments, to stop doing that and do something different. And once I learned that, it helped. I never understood that I was a stress eater until I started going through courses, and then something stressful happened, and I went and grabbed I think it was a bag of chips at the time, and I said, "Oh, that's what I'm doing," and put it down. And had to go do something else. So this is what Dr. Scotty is talking about. Look for patterns. Look for patterns, not isolated failures. Use human support. Okay, self-help books are great, but therapy and meaningful connections with others are essential. Often another person can help regulate. They can help you. They can be your buddy, your pal. Help reflect, help interrupt automatic patterns that you do, and they just help you. Hey, remember? Hey, let's do something different. So ways that we can't do on our own. Change is often a relational process. So reach out and ask for help. Ask for support, guys. That's why I'm here. This is why I do this. Hey, Leisha, this is why I do this on month, every 3 months, because we all need some reminders. We all need some help here and there. Okay? Ultimately, living in alignment with what we know is best for us isn't about perfection or even discipline. It's about learning to listen earlier, respond more gently, and create enough balance that our inner wisdom has a chance to be heard. And then once we can do this, we can move forward and we can make better choices. Peaches said we get comfortable and fear change. I'm going to put this on here. That is so true. We do get comfortable. A lot of people get comfortable in their I don't want to say failures, but a lot of people get comfortable in their way, doing things their way, and rather than take the steps to say, you know what, there's a better way, they just continue to repeat the same errors, and so I'm putting that there because it is so true. But there is a better way. It's just like I said earlier, we all have to retrain our brain, our thought patterns, understand our bodies, understand what makes us tick, learning more and more, because we change as we get older, we change as time goes on, learning ourselves, learning what's making us work, what's making us move, and then working with it, keeping ourselves regulated, keeping ourselves calm. These type of things will help us be the best versions of ourselves. And that's why I'm here and I'm doing this every 3 months to help us all understand that we can be the best versions of who we know we want and we can be. All right, let me move this along because I think, what time is it? Oh, we're doing good. All right, so our takeaway for tonight is, it says knowing what you want to do doesn't always translate to action. But if you're perpetually postponing change, or if your attempts are repeatedly unsuccessful, pause long enough to identify and understand the cause or causes before taking steps to remediate it. And that's our takeaway. Our quote for tonight is, and I love this quote, it is our duty as men and women to proceed as though the limits of our abilities do not exist. I used that back in May, and I'm going to keep using that. And that's by Pierre Desjardins. Okay? I love that. This quote right here. So let's move this along. For my fellow theorists, this is where I got my teachings from. All right, and I'm going to do my service announcements, and then I'm going to see y'all on Thursday night. Better up. If you want to create a personal and professional transformation through expert life coaching, www.betterup.com is there. They have wonderful, wonderful life coaches. All right. Our next one is Ada Plus Community. Empowering adults with ADD, ADHD, and OCD to live their best lives. A different brain requires a different approach. www.adapluscommunity.com. Next is betterhelp.com. So if you want a safe space to speak with a licensed professional online, BetterHelp offers affordable counseling sessions for individuals, couples, and the whole family. www.betterhelp.com. All right, 988 Crisis Helpline. Help is available. It is available 24/7 and it's free with confidential support for people who are in distress. Prevention and crisis resources for you or your loved ones, and best practices for professionals throughout the United States. 988 Crisis Helpline. All right, and this is Learning RX. I love this here organization. Been around for a very, very long time. Learning RX has been delivering information and doing brain training for, oh my gosh, I think well over 30 years or more. The average individual who goes through the Learning RX courses have increased their IQ by at least 13 points. Okay, they made significant gains in their working memory, their long-term memory, and even their attention. www.learningrx.com. Love, love, love that organization right there. Like and subscribe. If there is a past Counsel Today with Shanrae series that you have missed or you just maybe want to rewatch, you can go to my YouTube channel at Shanrae Price. Please like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications, and then select any past series that you would like to watch. And last and final for this evening, I am a professional one-on-one counselor. If you're interested in professional private counseling sessions with me, feel free to contact me via my Facebook Messenger at Shanrae Owens, and I will get back to you. Or you can just old school email me at shanrae.price@gmail.com. I am a lifestyle strategist. My aim is to aid you in your life's goals and your life's dreams. We are going to pick up on Thursday evening, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for part 2 of this week's Know Better, Do Better. I hope that y'all have a wonderful evening. I hope that you all got something out of tonight. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. I'm a little tired, guys. Long day at work. I should have more energy by Thursday. But thank y'all so much for tuning in tonight. And good night, guys. Good night.